You're listening to the Unreasonable Fridays podcast network.
Yeah, I got somebody's login to Disney Plus, so I've thought about watching stuff on Disney Plus. So the thought's there now. I have a login. I've even logged in and made a profile.
Hey, you should.
Disney. I figured that's progress, right? That's progress.
I mean, listen, you watching things would be a boon for the program. You actually watching programs would be a boon. It would change the dynamic. It would be like when they added spices to meat. Like whoever started doing that shit changed everything. So
I mean, I used to watch stuff. I just got into it. I don't want to watch anything.
Oh no.
I think I got burned out. I got burned out on that entire media format.
Oh, absolutely. Now I don't think we need to watch everything because I don't watch everything. I choose games and streams. That's usually what I'm watching. News, games, streams typically is what I do. So I don't watch a lot of everything. Like I haven't watched She-Hulk or House of the Dragon. I haven't watched.
Is it bad? Like the only reason I don't want to watch She-Hulk is because I have to see Matt Murdock's face.
You don't like the homie? You don't like Charlie Cox?
Daredevil? No. No, I don't care about the actor. The actor's fine.
No, you don't like Daredevil?
I'm talking about the character.
You don't like Daredevil? I mean,
no.
I ain't gonna lie to you.
We had this conversation about why I don't like Daredevil. He's insufferable.
Listen, I ain't gonna lie to you. I ain't never seen a character do so little and get so much love as Daredevil. I grew up reading Daredevil comics. I was in New York, so I was always reading New York superhero comics because there were like 14 of the motherfuckers, and I was like, everyone.
Yeah,
like,
why does New York have like a bazillion superheroes?
I assume it's because of its the ability to structurally sustain superheroes. Like, I'm in Austin, Texas. We ain't gonna have no motherfucking superhero. This place is too goddamn bright and flat. We ain't gonna, unless a motherfucker's got like no mask. Like, if like Paul Bunyan was a real nigga and he's just out here walking. Like, if there's a problem, call Paul Bunyan. He's at the HEB right now. Hit him up. Like, it's not even like a bat signal. It'd be like, Paul, it's a car accident. This is the guy's in the dragon suit. I think it's a real dragon, Paul. And like, all right, I'm on it. That's it. That's too flat and wide. Everyone see that nigga. Ain't nowhere to go. There's no place to hide. There's no secret lair. There's nothing. Even Austin's like hot 10 blocks. 10 blocks wide, 10 feet high. It's even the city downtown Austin itself. It's got like 2 skyscrapers. I get it. It's
flat but wide. There's still a lot of shit. It's just out. I guess a lot of it's in suburbia. So I think you're thinking of like there's like the city part, and then there's like not the city part. The not the city part is the big part, but like there's suburban crime.
Why the fuck would I want to read a comic about suburban crime? Because I definitely, because I've already read those type of comics where they magically have black people appear to subvert the suburbanness of suburbia. I don't want to read that shit unless like some of the. Actually, did you watch Watchmen?
Yeah, I did watch
HBO. HBO one with Regina King.
Yeah, that shit was good.
Right, that's suburban crime. When your fucking police chief is like a grand wizard, that's suburban crime right there. And unless they're doing that shit, I don't want to hear about it. That suburban crime is your fucking youth minister was also a Klansman when his heyday, and he's still pretty proud of it. He's still got that shit lined up in glass like Batman with his old bat suits and Robin's cowls and shit. He's proud of that. That's suburban crime. And ain't nobody writes that shit. Right. And that's why we don't have, and that's why we have to keep all of our superheroes in cities, even though I do think it's absolutely ridiculous at this point.
But all the meth labs are not in the city.
Listen, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I think a desert superhero would be interesting. I think a proper Southern superhero who's not like hiding or anything because you can't hide. So it's just like you just like the fucking sheriff, like you're just out here.
Wait! Just like a superhero, just hanging out in New Orleans, like what's up?
Right, like there's no reason to hide. Like you ain't nowhere to go. Like it's not. There's nothing.
Hanging out in Little Haiti, Florida.
Yes. I don't. That. Right.
It can be done. We don't need to focus on New York. New York's trash, literally. I'm sorry, New York listeners.
New York is trash. I don't trust the writers. If you get the right people to do these, if you get the right people to write these stories, I would absolutely love. Like, you know where I want to see a superhero story? In fucking Memphis. That's what I want. Memphis. That is a story. I see niggas from Memphis fighting crime. That's what I want to see more than a little bit.
Oh, yeah, that'd be so good.
Absolutely would. Yes, absolutely would. But like I said, we gotta get
Memphis would be like the
perfect place for a superhero story. Absolutely. Go ahead, stand up, stand up, stand up. Stand up. Stand up. Welcome to another episode of AddSpace. I'm your host, Aaron Rand Freeman, and with me, the actual hosts, the CEO, CFO, public relations lead, art director, cat wrangler, owner and proprietor of AddSpace, Elise Bacon. How are you, Bacon?
Hello, I am here.
And the quite the rabbit hole, the revelation, to start before the program. So I'm still reeling, so you're gonna have to let everybody know how you are in great detail. I'm still reeling from such a reveal, and I don't know how to go forward as a person. I love the ice cold silence. Like, hey, you're gonna tell people.
Sorry, I went down a rabbit hole because there is a whole lot of there's a whole, oh my god, I did not realize the pun of that. That's disgusting. Okay. Sorry, I went down a rabbit hole of conversations of Daredevil is blind while also thinking in my head that there's like a bazillion different kinds of blindness, which is kind of funny, kind of nice, but I don't like how Matt Murdock goes around things. Also, apparently, the whole theme is justice is blind.
Oh, I get it. Like I understand why Daredevil.
I never caught that.
Yes. That was kind of that's the whole. Yes.
Sometimes the joke is like the pun is so obvious that my brain refuses to acknowledge its existence, and that was definitely one of them.
The only reason why I remember it is because if you look at the old Ben Affleck Daredevil commercials, they did say justice is blind. Daredevil.
Right. Remember, like I just purge. Gone.
Listen, I will never forget. Listen, my favorite bit was Ben Affleck doing a little bit of Ray Charles. Like, not only was he being blind, air quotes, but he was like really hamming it up as a blind, air quotes, blind person. And then he would snap out of like his like Ray Charles impersonation to then be a ninja. And it just doesn't age well. But I retained from all that justice is blind. You see, because he's blind, guys.
I can't. It hurts. I can't do it.
So, yeah, there is that. But yes, is that how you are? Is you're down the Daredevil rabbit hole? Is this now one from a nondescript episode of AddSpace where we're back for the first time in a month, and now it has become a Daredevil special where you randomly
No. We're not focusing on Daredevil, but I did go down and I did find every single forum conversation in the world that has a discussion of is Daredevil blind. And I might also be on Twitter reading various Twitter things, and it's kind of funny.
To be clear, this is how you get a Daredevil episode of ADD Space, is when you have... Do you have the actual Google Keep open with the actual topics we are to talk about today?
Yes, actually. No, and I will never devote. There's been one episode devoted to Daredevil, and it's not today.
Okay. I mean, we're not devoting it to Daredevil. I'm just saying you're down the rabbit hole. You can just have random Daredevil facts interspersed between actual podcast content, actual conversations that we have. So you have freedom there, because you have a very well-researched disdain for Matt Murdock, which is enjoyable. My favorite is when people have well-researched issues with a character, a comic book character. It's like, I don't know. I've done my research, and go fuck yourself is my conclusion. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. But... I've been playing a bunch of... I blame Jeffrey Russo for this, by the way. Jeffrey Russo looms over my gaming purchases like the faded image of MLK in those memes. Or like a doc. He's like Dr. Umar Johnson. He's like my private Dr. Umar Johnson, always with me all the time when I'm like in a various eShop or what have you. So, it would be safe to say that we are now the survival horror genre, like the proper survival horror genre, not the Walking Death Simulator or the weird Five Nights at Freddy's heart attack simulator genre. Those are not survival horror. Those are fine genres that are not for me. The actual survival horror genre has made a return, and I believe it's what is it? Resident Evil 4 was announced. Callisto Prophecy is coming out next month, and a month after that, the remake of Dead Space is coming out. And they announced the remake. I'm
excited for all these white men.
All these white men. Jesus Christ. As I said on Twitter, like, they could all be played by Jensen Ackles with different haircuts. You can just put wigs on them, actually. Fuck it. Just like you can just have them do the roles. Like, just
because then you can have one haircut in all the hairstyles.
Right, and just have them and a few of them double up. Like Leon Kennedy and Alan Wake, all you got to do is give them a little part. Literally put the part on one side of his head to the other and switch his jackets, and you got Alan Wake and Leon Kennedy. And, it's bittersweet. I do enjoy proper survival horror. Survival horror, up to this point, was almost entirely held up by indie developers, which we will have to do that. Have a proper episode where we just highlight survival horror games and make sure. Wait.
Square Enix trademarks symbiogenesis in Japan.
What does that mean?
Symbiogenesis is the merging of two separate organisms to form a new organism.
What does that mean?
Parasite Eve, my guy.
Excuse me?
That's literally the origin of Parasite Eve.
You know what's funny is I wanted you to say
please bring this lady back.
I wanted you to say that plain because when you said it, symbiogenesis, I was like, that sounds like Parasite. My brain said, that sounds like Parasite Eve.
You don't understand. My brain saw Square Enix and then symbiogenesis, and it went immediately to Parasite Eve. I am not gonna get hyped. This is Square Enix. I cannot get hyped.
Why can you not get hyped?
Because they cannot be trusted.
What do you want? What did they do wrong?
No. Nothing. It's just that if they're working on a game or if they're trademarking a game, we might not see it for 10 years. There's a very tempered hype meter that you have to have with Square Enix due to when things are happening, when they get done, when announcements are made versus when a thing's going to be released, if ever.
I mean, they've been kind of flooding the market with RPGs. Maybe Parasite Eve counts as an RPG. Get a proper remake going. Get it out in the end of next year.
Not at the end of next year, my guy.
Well, not like a remaster. Oh no, a remaster, not a remake. A remaster. Remake would take a few years.
Oh, a remaster.
That's what I meant.
Yeah. No. So what I'm hoping is, tentatively, this is like a small tentative hope, is that there's a Parasite Eve 1 and 2 remaster, and like they come out as a package deal.
Ooh.
And they drop at like the end of next year, like around like Christmas, because if you played the first Parasite Eve, it's around Christmas.
Yes.
Why the fuck do I remember this? I haven't played the game since I was like 19.
Parasite Eve is iconic. It's so iconic. I could call Erica up here cold to talk about. If I said, Erica, get up here, we're talking about Parasite Eve, Erica would have a hot 5 minutes, ice cold. Whatever Erica is doing, Parasite Eve is a classic. We will remember all the fine details of Parasite Eve, and there is no shame in it because they never did better. There was what Parasite Eve 1 and 2 did was not done again. They tried it and it's never been done since. So no, absolutely no. It's the same reason.
So I'm hoping is a package remaster by the end of next year, unannounced. Like they don't announce it. All of a sudden they're just like, here, by the way, drop, which is what they've been doing with a lot of their remasters.
Yes.
They've just been like, cool, we're releasing this in like 2 months. Boom, there. And then the new Parasite Eve comes out like a year or two later.
Yes.
That's like hope it. But also it's Square Enix and they can't be trusted with release dates or production times. So
I mean,
or NFTs. So sorry.
I mean, you're not going to temper my excitement. You started it, by the way. I'm hyped.
I mean, the lead is a white guy. I'm sorry. Listen, I was just scrolling.
Hold on, which lead is a white guy?
Wait, what?
Which lead is a white guy?
What do you mean, which lead is a white guy?
You said the lead is a white guy.
I don't remember what the sentence I was saying.
Anywho, you got the hype train. You got the Parasite Eve hype train rolling.
Listen,
just to be clear.
I remember my sentence. I said with all of these white guys.
I mean, it would be nice to play as it would be nice to play
Give
Parasite.
me a not one.
It would be great.
Give me the white lady and her black cop best friend.
Oh my god, that would be great.
That precious baby.
Oh yeah.
Scene that made me cry when the dog got sick.
Yeah.
Like I was sobbing. I felt so bad. I was like, no, the puppy, no, the baby, this little baby's best friend. No, I was crying.
Yeah.
That was so sad.
Now I gotta.
And then they had just lost their mom too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was so sad. I was just like that poor little baby black boy. I was like, no, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Parasite Eve was a hard story.
Where do I have Parasite Eve on like my PlayStation 3 because Sony, wants us to go fuck ourselves. And I'm so not used to this where I'm like, where do I play this game? And I'm like, oh, I have to go in my closet and get an old console to play it. Like, after a certain amount of time, that's just not a thing. Like, you have to go back, like, a generation, like, to play games. Like, to me, for, like, just being in the Xbox ecosystem, like, I have to go back before Xbox to play certain games. Like, there are certain games on Xbox I can't play, but for the most part, I can find the games I'm looking for, barring, like, the $100 limited edition Japanese shooting games that I enjoy. But that's neither here nor there. And I want to play Parasite Eve, but I gotta hook up my PlayStation 3 and yeah. Is there anywhere else to play? I gotta look this up. Hold on. There's gotta be someplace else to play Parasite Eve.
I feel like it's on Steam, but the PC ports are bad.
I mean, at this point, I don't care. I would just like to have them in one place. I would just like to have them in one place. Right.
You know how you get them in one place? You have a PS2.
Let's see. What do I play?
And a physical copy.
Parasite Eve one.
It was Parasite Eve was PS1.
I know, I remember. Yeah, it's just all emulated. This is a scam.
Yes, it's a scam. It's annoying, but they've just decided that they don't want to do it.
That made me super mad. I hate that when when a game comes up and then you know there's no way to play. But yes, anywho, Parasite Eve has been announced. Breaking news, because I didn't see it anywhere else. I wasn't looking. But both of these are true. And yeah, it'll provide a survival horror break from all the relentless white men. By the way, as much as I talk shit, I'm going to be cozied up to each and every one of them white boys when those games drop, by the way. Like, survival horror is my blind spot. Like, I love the genre, and I am fully aware that genre is monochrome, to say the very least. So, I'm going to be talking my shit. I'm going to be getting my Callisto Protocol. And Callisto Protocol, I forgot, had a brown lead. If you look at the original video for it, it had a Jesse Williams light skin who was the lead. And they nudged him aside for like actually Josh Duhamel, the actor, to play the lead, and Tex McWhiteman in Callisto Prophecy. So like I didn't even realize that bit. And normally, again, with the faded image of Jeffrey Rousseau in the night sky, I've been more annoyed. But like I said, I'm so starved that I'm owning the fact that this is my blind spot.
I think the only one that I have an interest in playing is Dead Space.
That's your jam. That's your jam.
And like, I've always wanted to play Silent Hill, but then I also remember how my brain works with Silent Hill. And like, that man would annoy the piss out of me. And I mean, that's kind of like what the game series is like about like him not being him and his trauma, and him also just not being super great.
Right. It's one of the things and it's one of the, they announced a Silent Hill remake among two other games. Was it 3 games and 1 movie? 3 games and a reboot movie, I think they announced.
Yeah.
They announced the Silent Hill 2 remake, which is a 12-month PlayStation 5 exclusive. You guys. But I'm not going to lie. I don't want to be one of those people, but I unfortunately, like, I need 5 minutes to be one of those people. Just, everyone, forgive me. First problem, James Sunderland in the remake trailer is that we can really see his eyes. Rowan made this point on this, where the reason why you could barely see his eyes, you don't see his eyes very clearly, his eyes are always deep set and shadowed, is because he's actively ignoring something terrible that he did. His entire demeanor in Silent Hill 2, why he is confused, why he's like, what's happening? Calm down. This is crazy. Is because the entire game is about denial, which is why he seems uniquely unaware of what is happening and just unable to accept any of this, and why we also don't necessarily get as many clean looks at his face as we could, is because he's got trauma. He did a bad thing. Silent Hill's like something years old. And now I'm scared about spoiling a 20-year-old game. But if you're trying to play it, then you already know. But if you've never played it, I don't want to spoil it. So, but yes.
I mean, no. We can spoil it. It's fine.
All right.
We have like less than a 10-year statute on games. It's fine.
Yeah, and that game came out in like 20 years old.
Yeah, it's a 20-year-old game. It's fine. We're okay.
Hold on, now I'm curious. Yep, 2001 is a 21-year-old game. As he killed his wife. Harry Sunderland killed his wife, and that is part of his demeanor. Why he's so confused and why he's just very floaty out there is because he did a terrible thing and he's just living in aggressive denial. And in the trailer, he's already like really super present, but also very sad and also talking way more than he ever would in the game. And it's just like, there's a reason why he doesn't talk. There's a reason why he's always confused. There's a reason why his eyes are deep set. There's a reason why he's not actively frowning, because he doesn't know what he did. He's not sad because he doesn't know what is going on. He's like, oh, my wife called me. Yay, I like my wife. Doop 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 doop. That's how Silent Hill starts and holds for a while. That's why he's like, man, what's going on? You seem to have all this. Oh, you guys seem to be troubled. That's wild. Have you seen my wife? Guess not. Doop 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 doop. And then again, gameplay loop. For a reason. I immediately saw them pulling away from it. And this is me. Just also again, I think I got one more minute. I hope they do not walk away from how terrible he is as a person. That was one of the things about Silent Hill 2, is when you were truly introduced to who you've been playing as all this time. Aside from the fact that like his aversion to conflict gets a lot of people killed because he's just like, what? No, I don't want to. Leave me alone. That shit's crazy. You good luck with that the whole game. And it just seems like he's high, but no, he's conflict averse to an extreme. Kill his wife because she's sick. He didn't want to deal with nothing. Put a pillow over her face and killed her. Conflict averse to an extreme. That is critical to his character. I don't want him to be sad the whole time, and I don't want him to be talking all the time, and I don't want him to downplay how much of a shitbag Harry Sunderland. He's one of the worst characters we have ever controlled in any game, ever. It is critical to Silent Hill 2 that he is awful. Awful.
Yep, it is absolutely critical that he is a horrible person.
Horrible. I think my minute's up. Anywho, Silent Hill 2 remake next year. There is a let me grab this story again. There we go. We've got Townfall, which we don't know anything about. It is just from the people that did Observation. And I don't know if anyone has ever played Observation. I don't know if I ever talked about Observation on the show. It's a space horror game. So? Right. Observation is a space horror game where you play as the ship's AI, like HAL. And you are like, right. And is a woman in there, and she realizes that the ship effectively has multiple, it looks like she's adrift in space. And finds out that the ship she docks with a ship. She finally hails it. She sees a ship, docks at space station, and it's essentially kind of got the same people in it, except they're dead. So you are essentially controlling the ship's AI. You are navigating, overriding systems. You are controlling cameras. She's talking to you. You're talking back to her. And then it goes from there. It's actually one of my favorite game experiences I've ever had. I actually recommend it. It's very strange. Like I said, I forgot who, but someone suggested it's like HAL. And I was like, actually, that's a very, very, very appropriate comparison. And they're working on that, which is actually rather interesting. That I'm looking forward to just because of that. And then there's the Silent Hill Ascension game that seems to be some type of collaborative storytelling adventure, which might be fun for roleplay. Yeah.
I just my thing, and I understand that this is part of the narrative storytelling of Silent Hill, and I actually like appreciate it that like the man's a fucking piece of garbage. Like he's just he's actually like a terrible person. But like showing showing like how you find like the horror game is like finding how horrific this person is. Yes. And finding out his mindset. And I actually like really appreciate that. I don't want to play as a terrible white man.
Yeah.
And like especially like once it gets into, because the game uses a lot of metaphors and symbolism, and so once you realize what like that symbolism is and like what the symbol, like what everything means, like what the nurse means, what Pyramid Head means.
Yep. Even characters, even like characters like Eddie,
and characters like Eddie, and it's just like I'm like, this is really great storytelling. No. I'm good. I'm very good.
Yeah, characters like Laura. I mean, Silent Hill 2 is a very dark game. It's a very beloved, very dark game, beloved by people who I think might have missed the point. It wouldn't be so beloved. Like it's a dark game. It's the darkest in the series by a large margin. And they've been trying to. What is that?
Sorry, my favorite is watching conversations between the different genders talking about the meaning of that game. Ooh. And like the takeaways. Ooh. Those are my favorite conversations to watch happen, because it's like it is interesting to see which demographic completely missed the point.
Yeah. Yeah, I've had that when I've suggested to a room full of gentlemen that Harry Sunderland is actually pretty terrible. And I was like, and you'd have to be, and you wind up having this exchange where he killed his wife, and then they go, I know, but, which is an insane exchange, right? Like just by itself. Like if you just put that exchange on a piece of paper, if you like made a comic strip where like two like caterpillars had that exchange, it would still be strange. Doesn't matter who's having the exchange. But he killed his wife. I know, but wild. Everything in the game is a representative of all the shit he's either done or hand-waved with his wife, involving his wife's terminal illness. Everything he sees, all of it. It's pretty fucked. He's awful. 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 It's terrible. Like there's always that Joel debate from The Last of Us. He's worse than Joel. 100% worse than Joel. He has no redeeming qualities. At least Joel is trying to be his best self while being a terrible person. Harry's not. He's so far gone, he thinks his wife is hitting him up. Like, oh, cool. Oh, hey, honey. Fucked up. It's critical now. As a result, if someone who really gets it doesn't want to do that again, totally valid. I'm curious to see what the developers do, because it's a beloved game from a beloved developer. It's their darkest game. It's one of the reasons why Silent Hill has never been able to be that dark ever again. It's, to be very clear, I always thought Silent Hill should stop after the third one, because it actually finished this narrative. Like the Silent Hill 1 started a story. Silent Hill 2 was just a terrible story in the middle. And then Silent Hill 3 it closed the thread. I was like, they don't need to return to this. They've done something that they're not going to be able to do again without really thinking it over. What?
I'm not gonna lie, it's also part of why I actually really like the movies.
The movies were good. The movies got a bad rap for no reason.
Yeah, the movies are some of like, I would put them into like, top like video game inspired movies.
Absolutely. The guy who did the first one, Christopher Gans, he's doing a reboot movie for the series. I don't know what's coming out, but he's doing that. So.
Oh yeah, I remember. I'm actually pretty hype about that because I thought it was really well done.
Yeah, no.
And I'm not gonna lie, I also just really like that actress, and I want her to have more stuff.
Right. So I enjoyed the movies. I didn't think they were particularly. I thought they were actually and it's funny. It's one of those things where we called the movies bad in real time, but then the ensuing games after Silent Hill: The Room, when Konami started lowballing Silent Hill itself and just like handing it off to Western developers who were clearly consistent of people who thought Harry Sunderland was a fine character and Silent Hill 2 was their favorite Silent Hill because Harry Sunderland's watching him struggle is such a shame, and it's a shame that he has to struggle so much. People making further Silent Hills, you really appreciate the movies. Because it's not easy to do Silent Hill. They did 2 movies. 2 good movies. They did 2 good movies. And like I said,
they're some of my favorite movies. I'm not gonna lie.
And none of the Western developers have been able to capture Silent Hill. The Wii game did okay. Remember the Wii game where Silent Hill actually froze over?
Oh yeah.
Right. That was an interesting. It was a reimagining of the first. And instead of Silent Hill becoming like Rust Town, it froze over and you had to run away from it to survive. Wasn't the greatest game, but it was probably out of all the Western attempts at Silent Hill, that was the best one. But yeah. Silent Hill remake. Silent Hill everything. Silent Hill in abundance. Apparently, the reason why Konami is here, you're wondering, why is Konami here? They make pachinko machines. The pachinko business is taking a header. They are back because they are broke. They are back because they are broke. You might be wondering about that. Like, why the fuck was Cowabunga Collection the best collection of retro games ever made? Why does Konami suddenly care? Because they are broke. No money. They're broke. Because they remember when they made pachinko machines for a decade and said fuck you games, which is when we started getting Konami terrible adaptations, when they were like fuck all this money, when they cut the budget for Metal Gear Solid 5 in the middle of it and cut ties with Hideo Kojima. What?
COVID.
What about COVID? Oh yeah, pachinko because of COVID, right? Because nobody's there doing the pachinko.
I was just sitting there going, wait a second. That's like 3 years.
Right. It's COVID.
Okay. I get it. I understand now.
Right. Just like I said, Konami's still not to be trusted. They showed up with their hat in their hand because they ain't got no fucking money. They need a job. So now they're back to us.
So like, hello, will you buy our video games, please?
It's Konami here once again asking you to buy our video games.
That will never die.
Yeah, and like I said, I was wondering because, like I said, Cowabunga Collection is, like I said, it's the best retro game collection thing I've ever played, far and away. And now I'm like, why are there 3 Silent Hill games in a movie all coming out at once? And
Konami is just like, please, we need you, and we need your money. We need you, but we need your money. Hello.
I imagine that meeting must have been exhausted in Japanese. That whole meeting must have been exhausting. Where they're like, "All right, guys, we're gonna have to start making video games again." They're like, "Excuse me, what?" It's like, we're gonna have to start. Speak up. We're gonna have to start making video games again. And they're like, "Oh,
the era is over."
But they're so expensive. Why? And then we gotta market them. We could just put the pachinko machines down and they played pachinko. It was easy. Do we have to? Well, not quite.
We need the royalties for the pachinko market to come back.
I mean, to keep it a buck, Silent Team ain't coming back. They still ain't forking out that much money. They got Bloober Team is handling Silent Hill. Some of the key elements of the Silent Team are helping Bloober Team, but all of these games are being outsourced still, just to quality developers who've made interesting content. So our eyebrows are up, but Silent Team, the guys who did the first 3, and then Silent Hill: The Room, I think they got shuffled for Silent Hill: The Room.
Yeah, they got shuffled.
They got shuffled.
They got shuffled.
That's why Silent Hill: The Room is so weird. But it's a good story. But yes, so the actual group of people responsible for the Silent Hill that we know and love are still not together because Konami is still Konami. And it would cost.
Also, like, you can't expect teams like that to just stay together.
I don't expect them to stay together. I'm saying is that in the spirit of, how do I put it? Silent Hill benefits from being Japanese because their view of America is unique to them and makes Silent Hill infinitely more compelling. It's one of the reasons why Western developers are never very good, because nobody makes a more interesting America than Japanese people. Like their idea of what we do here is fascinating and amazing. We don't do none of that shit. What?
Hold on. I have to interrupt this with something that sounds completely off the wall, but one of my favorite Guilty Gear Strive characters,
yes,
is the most ridiculous interpretate and one of my most favorite interpretations of Western.
Yes. What's their name?
Gold Lewis Dickinson.
Hold on, I know. Let me see something here.
Hold on, I'm sending you the link directly. He is also the Secretary of Defense. No, Secretary of State or Defense. I can't remember.
Oh, I know Gold Lewis. Oh, I know Gold Lewis.
Listen, he has the Texan codpiece.
Yes.
He's the Secretary of Absolute Defense. He has this coffin.
Yes.
He carries a coffin with him because capital punishment.
Yes.
He looks like he'd be a really slow melee person. No, he's ranged because he uses guns.
Hold on. Let me read. Gold Lewis is the first ever Secretary of Defense in the history of the United States who was also an active duty military officer. His personal combat prowess is said to be equivalent to the entire White House security force, and it is no exaggeration to say that the security and authority of the United States are established due to his presence, making him the mainstay of the nation. I love it. No one does our shit like Japanese people do our shit.
The best part is so like one of his like his if you win with him, one of his little ending cutscenes is what in tarnation. And then the other one is hello pizza. No, I didn't order any pizza. Oh no, he goes hello president and goes oh pizza. No, I didn't order any pizza, but I am feeling kind of hungry. And I'm like,
yes,
oh no,
yes.
He's just my favorite. But no, really, like he's actually mostly a range player. Most of his abilities are range attacks because he pulls out guns.
Yes. Yes.
We were the last weekend we were doing for Guilty Gear Strive, they're doing crossplay. So they had 4 days of it being free for everybody on PlayStation and Steam to play for the play testing. So
right.
Me and some FC members, we were just some Final Fantasy 14 people, we were just going at each other in Guilty Gear Strive, and Gold Lewis Dickinson is probably one of my favorites.
Nobody does our shit the way Japanese people. So you got to get you a life partner that looks at you the way Japan looks at America, boy. I'm telling you. And the thing is, this shit, like until recently, this shit is incoherent. I don't even know where the fuck. My favorite bit of all time is trying to figure out what the fuck is Guile. For years, the more I stare at Guile.
He's a pilot.
But right. But he's also like, he's a pilot, but he's got the hair and he's got the body and the American tattoos. He's got the button down with the sleeves cut off because he's ready to fucking throw hands in the American Air Force Base. Ken Masters. What?
No, it's really funny. So like if in Street Fighter 6 in one of the maps, it's like the map with like all of the Navy folks, like it's got all of the military folks like out in the yard. You can see homie's plane like flies down and then he walks out. He gets out of the plane to walk out and watch the fight.
That's right. It's fucking America. That's what we do here. That's what we do here.
Really
shout out to shout outs to Metro City Mayor Mike Hagar, ex-professional wrestler, pile driving niggas, cleaned up his own streets. And then his homie Cody got arrested, wound up in jail, got out of prison, and is now the new mayor of Metro City. I love it. Nobody does it better. No Americans make American characters as compelling as Japanese people make American characters. We ain't got it like that.
It's the best roast session ever.
Listen, this is a cesspool. It used to be. I used to think they were trolling us, and they're trying to troll us. But listen, I could go for some Gold Lewis Dickinson. We have a lot of people who see these characters in the mirror, go on Twitter, talk a big game, and are in no way representative of any of these caricatures of America that we've seen. I could go for Guile. As an American citizen, I would feel better to know that Guile exists. He could even be a Republican. I don't care. I just need to know he exists. It sucks here. It would help. It really would. It really would. I would like to know if Silent Hill existed in America, because that would mean some religion is working to do something besides being bigoted. They're actually summoning the devil. There are multiple dimensions. This religion is tangible for something other than hoarding money and general bigotry. Satan is here. Look at him. Come to the town with your troubles. Get pulled into alternate dimensions. You might die. That's religion. That's tangible. I could go for that. It sucks here. All our shit is fake. I could go for any number of these Japanese caricatures that are meant to troll us. I would love any combination of them. Any of them. Even the bad shit.
I think the only caricatures that I felt were really, and this is super biased, but I felt by non-Japanese developers was Saints Row.
That was a good one. They were wilding. They did a good job of wilding on our behalf.
The first 3 Saints Row, just like, and again, all of the characters are terrible, but we're terrible.
Yeah. They were very accurate. They were very lovably accurate American characters.
They they were terrible in all the ways that like people here are terrible.
Right.
While still having while also being like loud and lots of energy and incoherent. And I'm like, yeah, this is us.
Yeah, that's us. That's cool. All right, Saints Row. Now I kind of want to make a list of like believable American like visions of America, and also entertaining. We have to throw in believable, entertaining American created visions of America in the video game.
Yeah, we're so bad at it.
We're bad at reflection. We take ourselves. We
are extremely bad at self-reflection.
We take
ourselves as a nation.
We take ourselves so seriously in all the wrong ways. We look we look more ridiculous than the Japanese trolling us for being ridiculous, and that is embarrassing. Like even do you remember Metal Wolf Chaos, the game where you played as the vice president? No, you played as the president because the vice president led a coup.
Wait, hold on. I have to look at it. Hold
on. You would know
it
if you saw it because it's a mech game.
Metal Wolf Chaos.
Metal Wolf Chaos. Right. You would know.
You know what? It was on Xbox original, so I might have missed it.
They brought it back. So you can download it. It's on Game Pass. Not Game Pass, but it's available. You can download it backwards compatible. I got it. And,
I missed this. I only had because I didn't own an Xbox until people had given me their original Xbox,
right.
And I had an emulator. I had a jailbroken one with emulators and shit. So
right.
I didn't have this. So yeah, I missed this.
Makes sense. The you play as the president. The vice president leads a coup, and he takes over the United States. Takes over the role of the White House and the presidency. via a mech. He gets in his mech and then assumes control. And then you, as the president, you get in your own mech and kill everyone. As the president of the United States. It is one of the greatest games ever made. I would love it if our president got down like that. That would be amusing as hell.
Joe Biden would.
He would if he could. He really would. But
he really would.
He would.
I feel like he'd go to the courts first.
Oh,
wait, would he go to the Senate or would he go to the courts first?
You mean for like the green light or just to strong arm people?
No, just to strong arm people. Not even strong arm, just more like revenge. An act of like, I told you not to do this, and look what you did.
He would. Joe Biden would.
Probably the court, since no, he would go for the GOP first because the GOP is like now trying to stop student loans.
But yes, all that interesting. I would love it. While you're home, please dwell on Guile. Just Guile. They answered my question. I remember because I had in my headcanon Guile is Hispanic. I had over time I just began to code Guile as Hispanic. They made him look more like Brock Lesnar. They made him look almost 1-to-1 like Brock Lesnar in Street Fighter 6. Because the kind of like a quiet response to me thinking that he was Latino. So again, dwell on Guile. And if you are also listening, try and think about what an entertaining American vision of America has been like. I guess somebody would say Grand Theft Auto, but it doesn't age well. The Grand Theft Auto games don't age well narratively to me. I mean, I didn't like them in the moment.
I didn't. Okay, I'm not. I did not like them when they were current. And I think part of this might be because when the Grand Theft Auto games came out, I was in very white centered spaces. There were a lot of non-white folks around me, of course, because like I was like 2 hours north of the border. So like there were just like a lot of like straight up Mexicans and Mexican Americans, just like a lot. But like all the spaces were and native folks, but like the spaces were still with all of like these brown kids, like all still very white centered and white focused. Because why wouldn't it be? It was in a fucking school setting. So Grand Theft Auto came out in those settings for me. And so I got to hear about Grand Theft Auto from white people. And I got to hear about Grand Theft Auto from white people and how they thought about the game. And this isn't that they didn't enjoy it, but I got to hear all of their hot takes.
Yes. Fresh,
live, during. I do not like those games.
Yeah, my introduction to them was always someone going on a rampage, having too good of a time. I was like, ooh.
Yeah. So one of my earlier introductions to, it was either GTA 2 or GTA 3. It might have been Vice City. Was
okay, go on.
Was people were white teen boys very excited to just run over strippers.
Yes, that was the first thing I had ever seen in Grand Theft Auto. Was a gentleman friend of mine getting a blowjob in a car and then killing the sex worker like the very first thing, and he was like, "Check this out," and I was like, "Nigga, the fuck did you just show me?" And then I was like, "I don't want to play this." Aside from the fact that the game looked like terrible, and I hated to say it, but it just looked rough. Even I understand it was a big game. I understand it was very ambitious, but that didn't keep it from looking rough. That shit looked rough. Hard pass. You know what Grand Theft Auto game I do miss, and we will probably never see it again. It's just the very first one, the top-down one in England. I would love that. That was appropriate. It was like a Guy Ritchie. It was like a Guy Ritchie story. Like, it wasn't like trying to be topical. It wasn't trying to. There was no rock. It didn't have the rock star stink. They weren't trying to make a point or anything like that. It's just a crime story. You're just wilding in England, top down. That's it. I'd love that again. Please return. Please. They won't, because
No, they will not. But yeah, also hearing about drug deals and gang shit from white wannabe Bloods was also super fun. Cause in my area, so like there were actually active Bloods in Crip territories, but like the actual, like, of course, like actual gangbangers like weren't out here doing shit, like not in the way that like the wannabe folks like are out there, because like you'll have people who are like, I'm sporting the colors and like I'm just up in their face, and I'm like, you're not actually part of anything, you're just being loud. Also, I'm not scared of you because I know you're just being loud and there's nothing to back your bite. You're just being a dick and no nothing. Cause like, you know me, like I grew up in like legit hood.
Right.
So like I was like around these people, I'm just like, you're just full of shit. Also, what the fuck? And then we also had a really active South Side 13 sector. And towards like the end of my high school years, people were starting to like rep that stuff without having any actual affiliation. And people had to be like, no, you actually can't do that. They're like, listen, we know y'all play games with Bloods and Crips. You cannot do that with Southside 13.
If they ask you for your employee ID number and you don't got one, it'll be real bad.
Yeah, they're like the people be like, no, we need you to understand you what, like, unless you are actually affiliated, you cannot be wearing any of that. And if you are actually affiliated, you already know. I remember one of my principals legit had to pull kids aside and just be like, I need you to understand. So it was, and like I said, like hearing all of them folks like talk about GTA and all of it, it was just, I will never play the games. Like, and I know that they've made a lot of changes. I know like the latest GTA is like real good and is like a massive moneymaker. And there's a new GTA coming out, right? I
mean, the one that got leaked in that massive leak? I guess so.
Yeah, that somebody's absolutely getting fired for. Yeah, I will. You won't catch me dead. Because again, like I said, I heard it. I heard how white people in white-centered spaces talk about it for years, and I have no interest.
It took me a while to get around. I think I played Grand Theft Auto 4. Grand Theft Auto 4 was good. Now I'm starting to think about what good American representations of America were there. But yeah, Grand Theft Auto was good. I didn't like Grand Theft Auto 5 at all. I think the only Grand Theft Auto game I liked was 4. And yeah, they need to return to England. Please.
They just need to leave the U.S.
It would be. How do I put it? It's weird because Red Dead Redemption is a very well done, thoughtful game. Grand Theft Auto, aside from the fact that like there's no reason to make any more of them because Grand Theft Auto Online is still making them billions of dollars. Like, don't worry about it. Trying to spoof and satirize America now doesn't work. Where satire in America for America is completely shot, so there's no reason to be here for source material anymore. Making fun of America is not funny. Either your satire is too close to reality, or your joke is going over everybody's heads. One way or the other. It's going to offend everyone, or it's just too close to reality. So it's like, you're here, but for what? So
yeah, I feel like unless your joke is specifically on that fact, it just won't go.
It would have to be Rockstar would have to be brazenly, I guess, it would have to kind of fly in the face of their core demographic, if that makes sense, for them to make a very topical Grand Theft Auto that works. I don't know if they're going to be willing to do that. They have the money to do it. I mean, they can go ahead and make anything they want.
I'm not gonna lie. Like, Rockstar's core audience is what they go towards.
Right.
Like, it's not. Rockstar isn't BioWare trying to be out here like we're trying to like court the right people and like convince people to do the right thing.
Right.
They're actively seeking out their core audience.
Right. And as a result, I'm not excited for another Grand Theft Auto game if they're doing that. I heard they were going in some reasonable directions, but again, Rockstar can't quite be trusted. So we'll see how it goes. Red Dead Redemption 2 was a very somber story. So they could, but Grand Theft Auto is not their somber storytelling vehicle. So
no, it's their
no.
I also, how do I put it? Like, it's a hard thing to articulate. I don't like it when, there's like joking about like, drug and gang, etc. culture. Like when you know it, but then there's making it the joke.
Right.
And I don't like that it was made the joke.
Yes.
If that makes sense. Because like it's one thing to like joke about something, but like to make it like the core joke. I've never liked that.
Oh, I understand. That was my issue with Lewis's narrative in Grand Theft Auto 5 was he was in the hood. There was no fleshing out of the hood. He was in the hood and he wanted to leave the hood. Everyone in the hood acted like black people in the hood, air quotes, at him and around him until he was able to move to the mountains and be rich. And that was it. There was no examination. It was just the hood is a place he needs to leave and a place that can be played for laughs. And then he moves away with his money. Then he's good. And, I literally do not have to return to the hood ever again, narratively, in the game ever again. That type of stuff that's not exciting. The prospect of more of that stuff is not exciting.
Yeah, I don't like it. And granted, and again, everybody has their different limits. And I don't begrudge anybody on I get entirely why people enjoy playing Grand Theft Auto. It's a good time.
Oh, it's good fun.
It's good fun. It's just why I can't. And I've got my own problematic pieces of core entertainment. such as what we will be talking about.
Wow, Seguetier. You talking
Seguetier?
Are you talking about Bayonetta?
I'm talking about Bayonetta.
Oh, you're talking okay? Because I had to cancel my pre-order and then reactivate my pre-order. Bayonetta is my problematic queen, so of course her game would be rife with controversy. So yes, where do you start? Okay, because we haven't been on, so we have there's an entire story.
I mean, it's not too bad. I feel like the story's pretty short in general. So Helena Taylor, that's her name, right? Helena?
Looking, yes.
Okay, so Helena Taylor is the voice actress of the Bayonetta for 1 and 2. She is not doing Bayonetta 3. Jennifer Hale is, and Jennifer Hale! Best voice actress. I fucking love her. But Bayonetta is by far known by Helena Taylor's voice acting of Bayonetta. Also to keep in mind that even though we all know the name Bayonetta is actually just a small game. It is not as well known. It's probably put under top underrated games somewhere. It has a small but very loyal fan base. It is not as popular as it sounds.
You know what's funny is for Platinum Games, it is their most popular character. They've made so many games, but we understand them as the people who make Bayonetta, but they make so many games between Bayonetta. I believe when did the first Bayonetta came out? 2006 or something like that. The first Bayonetta came out the first Bayonetta.
I wanted to say it had to have been 2007, 2008 because it came out. Bayonetta came out after I had moved up here, so it had to have been post 2008.
Yeah, 2009, October 29th, 2009 was the first Bayonetta, and it's been a minute between the releases, but we only really clock Bayonetta. They've made so many games: Metal Gear Revengeance, Vanquish, for me personally. That underrated Transformers. I forgot the name of the Transformers game. That was all very good. And yeah, and then Bayonetta 2 was 2014, and then 8 years later is Bayonetta 3. And we know them as the people who make Bayonetta when they've only made 3. But please continue.
Yeah, but the whole Bayonetta 2 only happened because Nintendo picked it up and rescued it from everything.
Yes.
They were about to fold, and then Nintendo picked up the studio, I want to say.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah. So yeah, they were about to fold. So Helena Taylor did a TikTok, Instagram, I can't remember, but basically asking fans to boycott the game, and she didn't. I don't feel like she directly called out Jennifer Hale as in bitch, how dare you take this role.
Right.
But it did feel kind of it did come off as a passive aggressive subtweet in a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't quite feel like she was trying to sick people on Jennifer Hale.
Not at all.
I do believe people kind of took it that way though.
Mm-hmm.
But she had basically said that she had gotten lowballed, and that was the reason she didn't take the money, and why she's not going to be back there. And she was like, "Please boycott the game." I was like,
yeah, it was a little concerning. Mostly because I understand voice actors to be getting lowballed, so that's my understanding is they don't make any money.
Okay, so this is where it gets complicated. I'll get into the voice actor pay in a minute, but so I think it was Bloomberg came out with their investigative reporting, and had talked with Platinum, and they're like, nah, she was asking for some ridiculous stuff. And we had also offered her 4K a session because Helena Taylor had made it sound had said that they had just offered her 4K, and it was to do to take the role back as Bayonetta, and it sounded like it was a flat 4K across the board, which ridiculous. But they said that they were offering her 4K a session, like 4 sessions, 4 or 5 sessions,
right?
So that's about 20K, and she was, but that she was also asking for residuals and etc. And whatnot all. Now, I'm going to stop right here. That is still lowballing.
Absolutely. Considering how much money Bayonetta will generate.
I need you to understand, this is still lowballing.
It's a shame that she was lying, because simply making these statements like she was offered this little, and things like residuals actually should come up. They're going to be making Bayonetta and using Bayonetta for 40 years.
So,
but please continue.
Somebody basically did the math and said that she was asking for 6 figures. Okay. I don't see an issue with that. So people, of course, immediately went to attack Jennifer Hale, because why would you not attack the new voice actress, and instead of going to the publisher directly, let's attack the voice actress, because the voice actress has absolute control over contracts and totally knows what the other person was offered and why they weren't taking the role. That is absolutely some information that they are totally privy to. It's not.
That
NDAs are a thing.
That long-standing beef with Jennifer Hale and Helena Taylor that we've been talking about for years. That long-standing rivalry, voice actress rivalry there, that's resulted in Jennifer Hale trying to get her booted off the role so that she can take it for herself, because of their long-standing rivalry.
Aaron's being sarcastic.
I am. Jesus fucking Christ.
For those who don't know, Aaron's
Jesus
being 100%
fucking Christ.
sarcastic.
I'm being really fucking sarcastic. There's no beef. They don't know each other.
There's no beef.
I don't even follow each other on Twitter. Please continue. That's fine.
Yeah, so people went to attack Jennifer Hale on Twitter. Jennifer Hale just flat out was just like, I cannot talk. I took a job. I can't talk about this. I'm under NDA. I took money. I took a job. Just hope and she's basically like, I have coin. I hope everybody else gets coin. Also, don't go off on people when you only know one side of the story. And that's like all she had said. She's like, maybe don't go off on people for things you don't know. Now here's where it gets more convoluted. So in social media, once you make pleas on social media, there's also people who want to look up your background and want to see how they can attack you in any which way they can. So Helena Taylor it is known that Helena Taylor is anti-trans. She definitely looks to be TERF or TERF adjacent. TERF being trans exclusionary radical feminist. Not a slur, it's an acronym. They don't like trans people, or they don't believe that trans people should exist in the same spaces as women, because they don't believe that trans women are actually women, which is what a TERF is. It's a belief system. Not great. That's not great. I don't like that. I am a person who firmly believes that I don't have to like the person or believe in their ethics for me to believe that they deserve rights, because that's white people. That is white people. I do not actively need to like somebody or believe in their ethics to believe that they deserve the same rights that I want, and that I also deserve those rights. And trust me, everybody is fucked up and problematic. If we all were revoked rights based off of being fucked up and problematic, none of us would have rights.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't work that way. So here's the thing. Voice actors are ridiculously underpaid. Voice actors also spend about half of their year at least looking for roles. So when they take a role, that role needs to pay for half of a year.
Yep.
Voice actors will end up doing maybe like 2 to 3 jobs. If they're workaholics, could do like 5 to 6 jobs. They desperately need sleep. A year. So 20,000 a year, 20,000 for a job does not pay for half of a year. Voice actors make basically yearly the same that you would at like a customer service job.
Yep.
They should be paid the same level as actors, because that is literally what they are doing.
Yep.
So, and voice acting is extremely hard on the body, vocal cords. They're also required to go to like under contracts, usually required to do cons and show up at stuff. That's also how they can make some extra money. But like, I'm going to equate this to public speakers. Public speakers get sent out for like they get paid to show up at places. Generally, public speakers have to pay for their own hotels and flights.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times those public speaking gigs don't cover the hotel and flights, or the money that you get doesn't cover that. So there's very that it's not often, and a lot of cons won't even pay for the voice actors hotel fees.
Really?
Yeah. Depends on the size of the voice actor. Right. So it's not great. They don't get paid. So what Platinum was saying the agreement was, they were still lowballing her. Now, whatever their agreement with Jennifer Hale was, that doesn't matter. That's nobody's business. We don't know. Unless Jennifer Hale like actively talks about what her pay was, it's nobody's business. Jennifer Hale has also specifically talked out on voice actors need to get paid more.
Right.
She's actually a really big proponent on that. She's like, they need to get paid. This is all just like really, it's kind of now hit the point where it's like the message is correct, but now it's just coming from the wrong messenger in the wrong way.
Right. So
I think the overall message is also like being detracted from, because people are focusing on the wrong parts of this conversation. So they're focusing on the fact that like, oh, well, she lied. And I'm like, she sort of lied. Like, it was definitely like one of those I'm omitting the full truth kind of lies. But I also don't feel like it was like she was wrong. Like, they're still lowballing her.
Right.
It's just not as severe as what she was saying. It's still pretty bad, but it's not as severe.
Right.
And she's trans antagonistic. So it removes empathy, and voice actors, in order to get heard, have to rely on public empathy. Those who were unionized, and by the way, there's also a lot of good reasons to not be part of a union. If you are a voice actor, there's also good reasons to be part of a union. That's a whole different conversation. You can get with unions, there's like a locked in rate, but also a lot of studios don't hire union voice actors.
Right.
But you can get higher than rates as a freelancer. Like, it's like outside of union. Voice actors are freelancers, essentially. But shit, where was I? My brain.
You were talking about how you were talking about that voice actors are freelancers, and you make more money being in a union, even though you get hired less, because they'll always try to lowball a non-union voice actor, but they're all freelancers.
Yes, they're all freelancers, and yeah. So yeah, there are perks to being in a union or not unionized. So it's all very complicated, and of course people are using the defense of, well, Platinum's just like a small studio, etc. I'm like, Platinum's made a lot of games. Platinum has made a number of games. They even though Bayonetta is like the one that people think of, they can afford to pay Jennifer Hale, and they can afford to pay Helena Taylor of a good amount of money.
They're not an indie studio, for God's sakes.
They are not an indie studio.
They're fucking Platinum Games, empowered by Nintendo to make a Nintendo exclusive.
Correct. They are not small. They have money.
Nintendo is paying them to make Bayonetta 3 specifically for them.
Yes.
No, they got it. For the love of God.
The money is there.
Yes, no, they got it.
Yeah, so it's all bad message. Oh yeah, well that's what I was talking about. Like, voice actors have to rely off of public empathy, because like even when there was a strike several years ago, voice actors were asking for residuals, and they had to just drop the residuals because they just weren't getting anywhere. And there's this, because unions are necessary, right? But there are a lot of laws that are in place, including, right to work state laws, which is an entire joke. It is, right to work is such a Republican sentence for bullshit.
Ain't it though?
That have reduced the the power of collective bargaining. And at the end of the day, the voice actors need work. They still need to pay bills, and the unions, especially if they're not big enough, they can't cover those expenses. And again, voice actors are freelancers, so like they don't have the power to utilize all of the collective bargaining skills, because legislatively the power isn't there. White people broke up the ability for unions to advocate because all of the colored people were starting to get rights.
Yes.
So let's introduce our really regressive labor laws to make sure that we keep the coloreds and the poors in their place. Thank you, white people shooting themselves in the foot to say fuck you to people who are not white.
I mean, racism is so insidious and self-destructive, but we won't get into that. We have
that's a whole different thing.
That's half an hour.
Dasha would actually be a good person to have on for a conversation about that.
That would be good to have Dasha on to talk about that. But like I said, I'm not even. We'd have Dasha on, then that would be an 1.5 hour long program. Very informative.
It'd be a special episode.
It would be. But yeah, we'll leave it at that. And I mean, I almost want to get we're going to leave that alone. But just understand that even the white folks who are anti rights and equality because they just don't want people of color to have it still deserve their own right. They still have rights, and just because I don't agree with them, how they feel about me, they still unfortunately need rights, and we need to be able to have multiple conversations at the same time.
Yes, this is absolutely we have to walk and chew gum at the same time.
Right. That lady, Helena Taylor, was out of line, but she's right. I mean, she went about it wrong. She's not a likable person.
She's not a great person either.
Not a likable person. But she has a point. Voice actors don't get paid enough for the value of their work. To the point where...
And...
What are you saying?
And Helena Taylor, I believe this is really her only voice acting gig.
I believe so.
I think she's just Bayonetta.
Right. And funny enough, This entire story is the value of voice actors, by the way. Like, they are being lowballed because their value in the medium is so outsized compared to their paycheck. The voice actors from Bayonetta was like, I need help. And everyone was like, tally ho, boycott Bayonetta, attack Jennifer Hale, attack Platinum, destroy. Within hours. Because we enjoyed Bayonetta that much. It was a testament to how much voice actors should be paid. They're that important to the experience that we swooped in for the aid of one without knowing the full story. When I found out that she's an awful person, but we still did it because she is fucking Bayonetta, and she is our what?
It's a very small, like Bayonetta is not that popular in the game.
But did you see how we mobilized?
But the fan base is very loyal.
Right. She is our problematic queen, and her original voice actress, she seemed to be in trouble, and we swooped in, and that alone warrants a pay increase. They're that important. We sight unseen. Who are you? What happened? Well, fuck. That was the response for the first 24 hours. And the wheels came off.
And then there was Jennifer Hale, how could you?
Right.
I'm like, leave her alone.
And then we were all like, FemShep, how could you know? Again, we were torn. We were in action. We were activated.
Literally the most beloved female voice actors right now. Tara Strong being the third.
Right. So there is that. But yeah, we need to have multiple conversations at the same time. The most prominent one being voice actors require more money because you hold them near and dear to your heart. That is worth money.
Also, they're actors.
Yes.
They shouldn't be getting paid like actors.
They are actors.
Getting paid. And these studios don't lack the funds to do so. They have the money.
Yeah.
And they should get residuals.
They ain't broke.
They are not broke. And if you see some of these NDA agreements, like some of these contracts, bitch, these voice actors deserve fucking residuals.
Yeah.
Like, ooh, buddy. Like in some cases, like they're like taking like the rights of like their voice for that game.
Right. You should be paid consistently. If your characters, and as a video game, like certain characters are just gonna get a lot of burn. Like I said, Platinum Games has made several games. We all know Bayonetta. If you know Platinum Games, you know Bayonetta, which means again that isn't it. Whoever voices that character is entitled to some compensation and shouldn't get moved aside for Chris Pratt. But that's, again, another discussion that is, out of the way.
What? Oh.
We're talking about the original Mario guy being replaced with Chris Pratt and having his ass removed for some reason. But, again, we won't go down that rabbit hole. But yes, moral of the story, we need to have multiple conversations at the same time. One of them being that voice actors objectively require more money. They're real actors. Even if someone you don't like, they have rights. Should not be exploited. You should be allowed to eat, work, and eat. Yeah. What else we got? Grand Theft Auto is an unlikable series.
Yes.
That's the best way to describe it. It's not bad. It's just unlikable.
No, it is a beloved, unlikable series.
Yeah.
You know what? This is a good one to talk about. The Activision sale. Because we've been sitting on this one for a minute because we've got some rants. Or do we want to wait for a Rousseau effect?
We can wait for Jeff. The moral of the story is that Sony is terrified of for the most part, they are so terrified of Call of Duty and the way they wield the Call of Duty brand to be an active, multi-billion-dollar advertisement for Game Pass, that they are throwing all of their resources onto trying to block this deal. They have a lingering fear of, first, it was, in fact, they had a weird concern about Microsoft claiming the brand Call of Duty, which is not what Microsoft would do at all. And then they kind of started to hint at the fact, and then it started to become out that, like, Sony is, like, blocking Call of Duty from being on Game Pass, and there's, like, a whole big thing with that deal. And it's like, oh, it's becoming clear that Sony, having seen what happened with MLB The Show, is trying to avoid that happening on a much larger scale with Call of Duty. So they're really going all out to make sure this deal does not happen.
But Sony doesn't need Call of Duty.
Absolutely does. The way they wield that, they wield it as a So say Sony's model subsists on the presence of 3 AAA titles a year. And the fourth being Call of Duty. They use Call of Duty as they act like Call of Duty is a PlayStation exclusive. They get first dibs, they brand things, they get DLCs first, all that stuff. You get more for playing Call of Duty games on a PlayStation. So it is their 4th AAA product that they release in their year, where they bring out the 2 or 3 major AAA games, the Sony games they bring out every year. So it is their brand. They require it. It takes up it is a big chunk of their own marketing every year, especially in the fall.
Right. No. I understand it's a part of their marketing, but they don't need it.
No.
Like Sony specifically does not need.
No.
If Sony lost a Call of Duty fan base, they would be still okay. Not even okay. They'd be fine.
I think it would present a hole in their fall game advertising. It would put a hole in it. They talk about Call of Duty every year like it's theirs. But like, what PlayStation 5 game has come out this fall? Like, you know what I mean? Like, of note.
Well, we're still getting our fall games. Our fall games haven't.
Right, but you can go, I mean, you can look forward. It's fine, right? You can call out something that's coming out in a month, and it still has value.
I'm looking up because there's actually like a lot of games happening.
Oh yeah, there are a shit ton, but because the exclusive game title is a fraud. In general, exclusive games are not really a thing. But there are not a lot of games that one brand can lord over the other this fall. Sony tends to lord Call of Duty over Xbox. Just every year. So they don't need it, but they use it to fill in a gap from their own value system, where they don't use indie games to fill in the gaps. They really don't use any games to fill in the gaps. So when it comes down to it, they will trot out Call of Duty as the Sony brand Call of Duty. You get it here. You get all the best Call of Duty experiences on PlayStation 5. So
okay, let's see. Overwatch 2, that's on everything. Oh yeah, it's Ghostbusters. I forgot about that.
I think that Plague Tale is multi-platform. Isn't on that Ghostbusters game? Doesn't have like asymmetrical multiplayer where like one person plays as like ghosts and the other 4 people play as the Ghostbusters or something? Like, I know very little about it. I've
literally never played the game.
I know nothing about it. I've seen it and I've been ignoring it. And there's so many other games out that I've been like, I don't have the bandwidth to retain the information about any other games. So,
yeah.
Go on.
The hard part is trying to find the exclusives. There we go. God of War Ragnarok is coming out.
When?
November 9th.
There you go. That's sweet. And
hold on, which is this one? Because like the hard part is like I'm looking up what are the exclusive games coming out on Sony, and it's just like here's the not exclusive games coming out on Sony, and I'm just like, you're not answering my question.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. One is not. Oh, what the fuck is this game? What is this Evil West? Why are we going with Westerns now? Do you know what my annoyance with Westerns is?
What?
People forget that Westerns, like the whole like cowboys thing, most cowboys were not white.
Yeah.
And when they were white, they were essentially criminals.
Right.
But like most cowboys were Black, Indigenous, and Mexican.
Right. Yes.
There are some. I think there's actually a history of some Chinese ones too.
Yep. That's why I ignore Westerns with a white male lead at this point. I ignore them.
Yes. I love Westerns. My dad is actually a huge Western fan.
Same.
And like if you want to know anything about Black cowboys, like my dad knows like everything about Black cowboys. I was very startled. I was like, oh, you like trains and cowboys. Cool. Weird for somebody who grew up in the North, but I get it. That's neat.
No, my dad was the same way. He loved Western. Same. Big same. But please continue.
Oh, yeah. Is the Callisto Protocol multi-platform?
Yep.
Yay. I'm excited about that.
Right. So, like I said, Sony
I think it's God of War.
Right, it's God of War. So Sony wields Call of Duty as a low effort AAA exclusive for their own platform to take some of the pressure of the fact that exclusives aren't really a thing, and they have one out this fall. You know, and
you know what? The Crisis, it's not technically fall. It's in November, but the Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core.
Oh, when does it come out?
It's December 13th, but it's Square Enix, so hand wave release date.
All right. So that's what they use Call of Duty for, is to fill in that gap, because being really loud and proud about Call of Duty does still work. It's still part of American culture all the time. So that's why Sony's very concerned, because really what would happen in practice is Microsoft would say nothing, like with the show. They would just let the people argue about it. Because once it became clear that you can play the show on Game Pass, then it was just one group of people paying nothing, arguing with people who were arguing paying $80 for the thing, which is inherently a ridiculous argument to look at. And having that happen having that happen on the scale of which Call of Duty is released would be terrible. It'd be a bad look. And then it wouldn't even be a bad look for Sony. It would force people to start yelling at them to do their own Game Pass better, which they do. They do have their own Game Pass. But then it would be yelling at them too. Right. But then what it would do is it would force PlayStation people to yell at it. They would be forcing their hand to expand the service to an uncomfortable degree. Sony's Game Pass is very much a product of couples counseling. Like, it's very much a product of couples counseling and high housing costs. Like, they need to make this work because they got the two incomes and neither one of them can move out on their own. And it's much better to just try and make it work where we are, even though there's a lot of gritted teeth and a lot of grumbling about it. They do not like Sony's subscription services is not a product of love. They don't like you, and they don't like doing this for you. Call of Duty on Game Pass would, aside from creating that natural advertisement for Game Pass, would create a groundswell of pressure for Sony to expand their own service, and then that is exactly what they don't want, which is why they're screeching about they're really leaning against this deal, because it would really upend how they go about their fall release schedules, and just their product line in general would just really change a bunch of shit, and it would just it'd be a bad look. So they can't let this happen. And that's why they're acting. That's why they're just flailing and screeching at this point in the backseat. Now Sony is flailing and kicking out the back windows and stuff.
Currently, Ghostwire Tokyo is a timed exclusive that came out this last March. But it will be out on other consoles by next spring.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Exclusive doesn't mean anything. If your game is coming out
it doesn't. It's all timed.
Right. If it's timed or if it's on PC, like the simultaneous PC release this is not fucking exclusive. Fucking get it on the fucking computer. It's not exclusive.
How do you think I've been getting around exclusives? I just have a Nintendo Switch and a PC. Do you know what that means? I'm drowning in games.
PC is not an invisible console. A platform. It exists. It is the superior platform with which to play most games. So yes, if your game is coming out on a console and PC, it's not console exclusive. And it's not exclusive. Okay. Yes, please.
Okay. But before we end the show, we have to talk about one thing because I have been waiting 3 weeks to make these jokes with you on air.
I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about.
Oh, you will in 2 seconds.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Potion permit.
Oh, you're talking about fucking brick simulator?
The brick simulator.
You sell drugs. You sell drugs to malnourished and underserved white folks, and increase your standing as their local sanctioned drug dealer, the pharmacist. Yes, my favorite.
I believe we get away with it because the sheriff is a black man.
All right, so potion permit.
We give anti-anxiety medication to his wife.
Yeah. Last time, I mean, you can tell me more because you've played this. You and Erica have played this way more than I like. I had played it for a few hours and I was like, nigga, I'm a drug dealer. And then I was like, hey guys, I don't think they told y'all, but you're the plug. You give everybody what they need for whatever's wrong with them. Like you give actual medicine, but some people ain't got nothing wrong with them. And they need something to take the pressures off of living this pixel art life, this hard pixel art life that they live. And
listen, I don't know. I had my first 4 patients, 5 patients, and it was 5 days in a row, all came in with like something weird's going on with my eye. And it's either like swelling or lumps or itchiness. And I'm like, nigga, y'all got pink eye. It's fucking contagious. We got it. There's a hygiene issue here. What's going on? Only to find out later that there's like some slime bodies in the water. No, the water's fucking contaminated. That's why everybody's got pink eye. You have to use so first off, okay. You are a quote chemist. And this is in a time period where chemists are also considered like doctors because they make medication. Just like, barbers apparently were cancer surgeons back in the day. I'm not kidding.
Wait, what?
No, that's not a lie.
Barbers were cancer surgeons?
Yes.
Is that why your barber actually
barbers performed surgery?
Is that why barbers now act like they know everything?
I don't know about that, but
I mean, them niggas don't shut up. But
anyway, barbers just.
Is it like?
I found that out actually from Final Fantasy 14 because one of the voice lines from one of the bosses in Readerana's Lighthouse would say, "The Empire is a cancer, and I am the barber's blade." And I was like, what the fuck? And then Justin's like, yeah, didn't you know barbers used to do surgery? And then I was looking it up and I was like, oh, motherfucking shit. They used to do surgery back in the day. They would remove cancerous growths.
It's important that we never let actual barbers know this information casually. We will never hear the end of it in the barbershop if barbers knew that they were the occupational descendants of brain surgeons and cancer surgeons. Absolutely fucking not. I might delete this episode. I gotta delete the episode. I gotta shut it down.
No, please don't delete this. We worked really hard on this episode.
It is not. It's all for Ron.
This was delayed because my computer stopped working. I had to get a whole new GPU.
But you're back now. But yes, please continue.
But yeah, so you're playing as a chemist, and when you walk in, everybody's like, "Bitch, you're a chemist. Fuck you," because you're this island is basically this town on the outskirts of this big city. So like you got this giant ass city, the capital with like the big buildings and all of the stuff and the government and all of these organizations, and it is the capital. The same way that the same way that country folks talk about like the city, or middle America talks about the West Coast or the East Coast. Exact same. Did not go over my head. And so there's like this little island of people, and they're just like, yeah, we don't fuck with chemists over here because chemists came in and destroyed our entire fucking island, and now everybody's sick, and y'all can go fuck yourselves. Why are you here? You should go fuck yourself. And it was really interesting playing through as like a because like you can do character, you can build your character, and there's like no gender identifier, so you don't choose like she, her, he, his. Sorry, you don't, none of that. Which, thank you, games are finally beginning that like, oh, it's just easier if we just don't bring up gender.
Yes, much easier.
There's like, we have less writing to do. We don't have to have like a code that swaps everything for she, or a code that swaps everything for he. We can just like not do it, save time. We don't have to make 2 entire sets of outfits. We can just do 1 set. Like, yes, save time. It was really funny though playing as like a black character because they're using language like your people.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, these niggas are racist.
It's one of those games.
Really, they're talking about like chemists, but I'm like, y'all did not think this through.
It's one of those games where it's just a natural, like, I understand you can create your character, but the context changes just enough to make it better if you are a black character. It just changes just enough to make it perfect.
It's really funny. So like, and of course, like this game is like has the diversities. So we have a black sheriff. We have a black forest ranger who lives on the outskirts of town with his white wife. They don't hate you, by the way. They're just like, hey, the town doesn't like you people. So just letting you know.
Oh goodness.
No, really, like Forrest, the Black Ranger Forrest, like he pulls you off to the side and he's like, listen, I ain't got no issue with you, but ain't nobody here like you. And I'm like, really? Couldn't tell. Is that why you live on the outside of town with your white wife, my dude?
Oh goodness.
And I meet Osmond, the sheriff, and he's just like, I'm like, cool, bruh, nice to meet you too. I'll see you tomorrow. And so that started off my first day of me becoming a chemist, doctor, drug dealer for this small town. Also, the other person who's nice to you is this very nice Chinese man. Who works in the city office as essentially like the mayor's secretary or aide. He's a very nice young man. Oh yeah, also there's the I guess I'm not sure what you call it, the other he's the naturalist who has been serving the town for a while. He just hates you because he thinks that you're here to take his job.
I mean, he looks so much like Doctor Strange. We could just call him Doctor Strange for expediency.
I don't want to call him Doctor Strange because Doctor Strange is white, and I'm pretty sure Mateo is not.
Okay, I'll give him that. I'll give you that.
Pretty sure Mateo is not white, but I'm pretty sure he thinks that you're the black worker who has come to replace him.
He sure acts like it.
He 100% acts like it. And I'm going to quote Erica on this one because I thought it was fucking hysterical. Found out he's romanceable. And as she put it, I'm going to make him pine for me for the rest of the days. because he is a dick.
He is a dick.
So I'm just out here. I'm making actual medicinal things for people, and then I'm making not medicinal things for people. My favorite is at some point as you get further along, you no longer have to technically diagnose people. You can just give them a serum. Like you can just make, there's like a beginner serum, an intermediate serum, and like I think I can't remember what the later one is called, but instead of just diagnosing them, you can just give them a random medication. And I was like, oh, it's just like going to the actual doctor. They don't actually diagnose. You tell them what's wrong, and they don't actually diagnose you, and they just stick you with something, and you're like, I don't know what they did. Because I spent so much time in doctors doing that, I've decided to still diagnose each patient and not use the mystical serums, but I did craft enough and sell them.
What is a mystical serum?
Well, the thing is though, if you make a recipe 4 times, if you make something 5 times, you can then save the recipe for it so that you don't have to like play the puzzle game each time you want to do a potion. You can just go to your recipe list and like just Instacraft it. Right. So I've been going through the recipe list and like crafting everything in my recipe list like 5 times and then selling them. So like I'm using the serums to just like the nondescript serums just to make money.
So you out here just you for real just selling cough syrup, air quotes?
Yeah, I'm selling cough syrup. Well, injectable cough syrup.
Okay. That's not problematic at all. Just that's all above board.
But isn't this game about pushing the brick?
Yeah, it's just to be clear, everyone, Potion Permit is crafting is a crafting game. You do spend a lot of time in the forest beating the shit out of some of the largest wild animals, just absolutely pummeling them. Like, I don't know. I don't
even feel bad about it. Some of them are so fucking aggressive. I'm just like, okay.
It just makes me laugh.
It's fine. It's just self-defense at this point.
It makes me laugh that like a bull will rush you and then you will kill it in 2 hits because you are a chemist, but that's neither here nor there. Crafting.
Yeah, I'm sitting here like, why am I as a chemist slinging this axe around like a murderer?
The fact that you're able to fight assassins of a race of people that are not mentioned in the narrative in any real tangible way. Like these are actual like of people. These are like there's a culture somewhere around here with people who don't want you out here who are attacking you, and you can kill them and take their you can take their core crafting materials. But yes, Potion Permit, it is available everywhere.
Oh yeah, there are. Once you do make it up into the Icelands and into the desert, you start finding the indigenous people. They're very like wolf-like, but they're clearly the indigenous people, and you have to fight them and then turn them into resources for potions.
But
I mean, I'm just saying it like this. Really, I'm sure the game just treats them as monsters, but they are armed. They're using a shield. If they're smart enough to know how to craft and use a shield, then they have intelligence.
That's what I was telling Erica. I was like, those people have culture. Like, who are those? Who are those people? And then Erica was like, I don't know. And I was like, well, someone's got to tell me. Fill me in.
They are definitely beastmen, but I know nothing about them. I just know that there's another one further south that casts magic spells and attacks you, and then when you defeat them, you pick up their magic components, and you can use their magic components as resources for your potions. So I'm making extra magical drugs. Now it's interesting because there's this overarching message, I believe, that deals with the misconceptions and the dynamic between big cities and small cities, and also the medical care system.
Right.
So like, again, like all these chemists had come through, and the town is very angry at them because basically the chemists came out and they were trying to do this experiment to actually help the people of this island, and it went very, very wrong, and it actually ended up destroying a lot of wildlife, and it started making the people on this island sick, and the people got very upset and kicked the chemists out. And some of the chemists were trying to also fix their mistake. And there's a whole section where like clearly like the chemist who had tried to fix the mistake also died in the process. And so you have like, all the chemists who had been there are part of the medical association. Now, the people who I've been working with the medical association, they're also kind of sus. I kind of don't trust them. I'm sitting here like, y'all sent this rookie out here to mend the bridges between y'all and this tiny town. Got some feelings. But it's clear why, because I'm just a lone Negro. So yeah, so it's like send this lone novice Negro out here to go fix the problems of the white man and see how it goes.
And it's working out swimmingly.
It's great because like I'm a personable person. I'm making friends with everybody, including the naturopath who thinks I'm out to steal his job.
$20.
It's actually a very enjoyable game. Also, the latest update fixed a lot of bugs.
Oh, there was an update?
It was pretty buggy. I'm not gonna lie. I found some wild bugs.
That was one of the reasons why I was hesitant to bring it up on the show, is because it turned out, even though I told everyone to get it about, after about 25, 30 hours, starts to go a little haywire. Starts to buckle under the weight of your own game save. And
I'm not gonna lie, I started experiencing some bugs like right away, and I was having some severe frame rate issues. For me, it wasn't anything. I am a person who plays games, and I am magically able to find all of the game breaking bugs, or just like in general bugs or glitches in any game. Like I don't know if it's like part of my chaos energy or just like some weird talent, or I just am a person who just hits every single section of a game without meaning to and just finds the right thing. But I could see where it would be distracting to make a person not play, but I was able to continue playing through because I don't know how many hours. I decided not to look because my computer was down for a week, and I know the bulk of those hours when my computer was down for that week. And I just don't want to know. Do not want to know. But I'm still playing it. I'm enjoying myself. They just came out with the update. They pushed the update to the consoles because it's also a Steam game. They pushed the update to the consoles and fixed all of my previous ones that I had found.
Okay.
I don't know if there's any more. Like I'm not having cutscene issues anymore. So.
Okay, cool. So then it was patched because that was my major issue.
It was a pretty big.
Right.
Patch.
I don't want to recommend a game that is that buggy to the people listening, but if they sorted it out, then yes, it's $20. It's extremely enjoyable, an extremely good cozy game. Context added: if you are black, more so if you make a black character, you are in fact a state-sponsored drug dealer. Providing medicine and illicit drugs. You are selling lean to people who know how to ask for lean in the community.
This I have to say though, this asshole gave me the $20 to pay the game, and on the Cash App put community drug dealing fund.
Of course I did.
I'm like, you cannot do that on Cash App.
Here's the deal.
So I'm saying this on the podcast that this is for this game if this ever comes up later.
Listen, I would, if they burst in the windows because I put community drug dealing on a $20 Cash App exchange. That's right up there. Remember in about a year or two ago when they had the New York NYPD tweeted out the massive massive drug bust where they had like $100 worth of weed on a table with a bunch of cops with their arms folded. I would love them to bring me in and say that they have cracked down on a major drug operation because they saw me give you $20 on Cash App. And it said for community drug dealing. No drugs.
The major drug operation on my Nintendo
on
Switch.
Your Nintendo Switch. That's just I will gladly stand up there. I will gladly stand up there and I will be right up there. I will be right up there with the cops folding my arms. I'll be like, yeah.
They'd be like, who's your plug? This pixel character.
Right. So listen, if they got it, then so be it. My understanding is no institution of authority has the resources or the manpower to crack down on any of this shit. So I will go ahead and title all of my Cash App transfers to you community drug dealing going forward.
Please do not.
Please
do not.
Because $7, $8, $10, $20 for community drug dealing. Listen, if they want to bring the hammer down, no, literally while you go and you get chicken sandwiches with the motherfucker, officers, have at it. Please do good police work.
Does this constitute as describing a game badly?
What, potion permit?
Yeah.
No, it's the best way to describe it. Here's the deal. You are a drug dealer in a very quaint pixel art town. I like Stardew Valley. I don't care about farming like that. Dealing these drugs and helping these people out alternatively is great. As I played up to a point, officers are like, oh, we got to move all these boxes. If only we had a little bit of a pick-me-up. And I'm like, I got you, officer. Then we give them a little something, and they're throwing around those boxes. They're done in like 6 minutes.
Oh, yeah, when we straight gave them PCP.
Right. A little bit of pre-workout.
And then they got tired afterward. They crashed afterwards. They're like, oh, I'm fatigued. And I'm like, yeah, that was some PCP.
Yeah, bro. You good, though? You got your job done? You got an extra hour before lunch. You go ahead and take a 2-hour lunch, officer. I'll see you later. It was in the street. So yeah, like I said, I'm out here helping out the community. This is my Stardew Valley. And if this description entices you in any way, then buy the fucking game. If you are mortified, then do not. It's just one of those games. Like I said, we should collect the titles of games where certain bits of context enhance the gameplay experience.
It was really funny. I'm just playing. It's so funny because like Aaron was describing this game and I went, okay, well, I need to go play this. And I go play it and I'm like, Aaron's not wrong.
No, you slayed it. You are the plug for everybody, for the mayor, for the police, for citizens, rich, poor, all genders, everything. You even help out like local animals, everything.
Listen, Kips is precious.
Mm-hmm. Kips the cat.
That cat is 10 out of 10 for cats.
Right. So, we can only
the fishing mini game gets a 3 out of 10 because it's not the mini game itself is engaging, the rewards are not.
It's not good fishing.
You get pink fish meat or white fish meat, which you can use in recipes, but and there's like a fish, like whenever you catch a new fish, there's like the fish record. But like so far I haven't found a point to the fish record. And it doesn't matter what fish I catch. It gives me one of 2 different kinds of fish meats. So the mini game itself is okay, but like the reward system for it. So you know what? No, I'm going to bump it up because we're doing it out of 10. So 5 out of 10, but a 3 out of 5. There we go. Have some numbers.
That's the official review. That's the official review of Potion Permit. What was that again?
No, that's the fish. That's a review of the fishing.
Oh, I mean,
10 out of 10 for cats.
10 out of 10 for cats. 3 out of 10. What is it? 3 out of 10 for fishing.
5 out of 10 for fishing. 3 out of 5 for fishing.
Okay. Yes.
I usually go on a scale of 5, but for whatever reason, I went 10 today. So we're throwing some extra.
All right. That Potion Permit, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to contact us, UN Fridays on Twitter. We have a Patreon.
Please subscribe to our Patreon.
Patreon.com/unfridays. You can subscribe to any amount of money you'd like to subscribe, anywhere from $1 to $3,000.
I am officially unemployed and going to school full time and need the funds and food. Please help.
I'm right there behind you, but we'll talk about that later. You can find Bacon at Twitter at B4C0NZILLA. That's B4C0NZILLA. And you can find me at ANS Freeman. ANS Freeman. I believe we've covered everything real fast. And I think we did it. We did it. We completed an episode. Thank you for hanging out with us, everybody. All right. And see you guys next week. Have a blessed day.
Go ahead, stand up,